Hi guys! Today I'm going to talk to you about how to turn your artwork into prints. When I first started selling on Etsy, I really quickly realised that once I sold a painting and I got paid, that was it. I had to paint another one to get paid again. So I came to the conclusion that what I wanted to do was to sell prints and capitalise on all my hard work. That would create a repeatable income for each piece that I created. The next step was to work out how I could make prints from my original paintings. I did a little bit of research and I worked out a process, which is what I'm going to share with you today. So step one is to digitize your artwork. Initially, I started by taking photos of my paintings. I've got quite a good Canon camera, so I thought that would do. But I've actually very quickly realised that I had issues with the perspective, because when you photograph a painting, it doesn't actually, unless you're exactly on top of it at 90 degrees, it comes out slightly skewed, and it was very difficult to get that good lighting and a really good result at a high res that wasn't blurry, and I just kept getting blurry images. I have done some research though, and it is possible to get a good image from a camera. So if you're interested in doing that, then there's a great blog post which I'm going to link below, so have a look at that. So I decided what I would do instead of photographing my paintings is to scan them in, because I actually had quite a decent scanner and I thought this would actually be a better solution, and then I could edit them in Photoshop to get the desired result. My scanner is an ancient Epson V370 Perfection, which has now been discontinued sadly, but I have put a link in below to the newer V39 model, which has most of the same features. To scan a painting in, I just place it in the scanner and press the button, and hey presto. When I have a larger piece of art to scan in, I flip the lid of my scanner and do it in sections. There are times I have to rescan an area several times, but most of my work isn't massive, so for me this works. So step two is to merge your scans together. For this, I use Adobe Photoshop, and I actually use the automatic features as it does it for you really well and works 99% of the time. You can do it manually. I have done it manually, but it's a little bit of a fiddle, and it's actually easier just to use the default features they provide. To stitch your scans together in Photoshop using Photo Merge, just go to the File menu at the top, click Automate and Photo Merge. To use this feature, just select the images you'd like to merge, choose the Auto setting and click OK, and Adobe will spend a few minutes doing its thing. When it finishes, it should show you a pretty accurate depiction of your work. Step 3 is editing. Once you have a single image of your painting or your work, it's time to edit it. In this step, the first thing I usually do is flatten the image and remove any layers. I do this to make sure that the file size is a bit smaller, as otherwise the Photoshop files are quite large. I then save this version as the original JPEG. Yes, I do still use JPEGs. The next thing I do is edit the actual image. I remove any blemishes and imperfections, overlapping, miscoloured areas. I blend out the edges and remove them, and I get rid of shadows. I always make sure that my white areas are completely white and that the colours are accurate or how I would like them to display. Sometimes I do increase the saturation and vibrancy, as I really like colourful prints, and I up the contrast quite a lot as well. I also blend out the edges of the painting if it's a loose piece, and I may change the colour profile to Adobe RGB if that fits with how I would like it to look. So once I finish editing, I print a version to see if there's anything more I need to do. Sometimes you will find that actually there are areas you've missed that you can't see very well on the screen, but you will see in the printed version, so you need to correct them. So for my cow, this is my printed version, my first version, and you can see that I actually wasn't very happy with this because I found that the this area was a bit too pink, and for me there wasn't really enough contrast. So I had to go back and retweak. I retweaked it a little bit, and here's the finished product, which I'm really happy with. The contrast is much better, the pinks are a little bit darker, so I think it just looks a little bit better. I think for me, printing is quite an important part of the process, because when you print, you notice things that you might not necessarily see on screen, like little areas that are miscoloured. So it is important to take a printed copy and have a look at it and see if you're happy with it before creating the next versions. Step 4. Resizing the prints. So I create all of my prints in an 18 by 24 inch size. That's my master version. So when I get the version of it that I'm happy with, I then resize it to that size. I then create all the print versions from that master version. So with my 18 by 24, I create a 16 by 20 inch, and then from that an 8 by 10 inch. And then I go back to the 18 by 24 inch and create an A3 version and an A4 version. This gives me my initial set of images, and I use those images for framing, photography and mock-ups. And those are the versions that will go up on Etsy and my website and Amazon. Anyway, I hope you've really enjoyed this tutorial. I've tried to cover everything, but if I've missed anything or if you have any questions, please feel free to comment below and I will try and answer them. And if you're interested in hearing more from me, then please subscribe and like this video. That would be great. Thanks.